And shalom, 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 everybody. I want to welcome everybody to Precept Mastery. We going to be going through a few things. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff straight. Technically, we called me and Elder Jenkins. We just talking to each other, just talking, going back and forth over some things. So I wasn't quite finished up, but we're good. So, but what I want to do is we're going to go through this piece here today for the simple fact for what's been happening. Now we had a person that I appreciate them. They send me an email almost twice a week, and they ask the question which they keep asking. They want to know properly how to break down the teachings that I do and the other elders that's online what they do. They want to understand how to actually do a correct study of that, and they want to do it in a perceptual way. So I'm not going to tell you how many emails they sent, but it's been over a period of about a year and close to about a year and a half that I've been receiving this email from them. And they are always very nice, but ask the same question. So however, what today is, I'm going to go through this. And this is one that I normally don't do. I don't normally go through these, but I am going to do it today because they have their studious. They've been that thorn, and a lot of ways they're right. So we're going to do this. And then after we do it, and then from that point, we'll the other studies that I'll be doing that's going deeper, I will be doing that on the other side. Because to understand how to perceptually find something and understand it, we need to understand, one, the Bible. Two, you need to understand the thought pattern which the teacher is coming from. Because as I tell you all the time, and this is what they was holding to me, I don't give you all the precepts in my teachings. That's what me and Elder Jenkins was just talking about. I can teach for 10, 12 hours because the entire Bible is connected. So you can know exactly the thought pattern we're coming from. That's why, many times we have to find a cutoff point to where we can cut off our teachings, because it's so much information we can give you, so many precepts we can give you that are there. So that's why I'm doing this, to show you, and then you'll see it. And now the main thing is, we did have in there with people, if you registered, you guys will be able to get what I'm gonna be doing. You'll be able to get that, because it's gonna be I'm gonna finish it, and then I'm gonna convert it into a PDF to where you can go and then you can study that also. So that's why if you didn't register, and right now I'm pretty sure they might have cut the registration off, and I believe that's only like 3 or 4 people back there. So, but they will actually get to study. The ones that's on the YouTube side, you won't be able to get to study because that study going to be put over there. The other part of the people who will be able to get to study is the ones that's part of with Elder Ascende and his wife, Sister Brittany, because I will put it over there because I'm part of what they do over there. So they will also get to study to where they can put it out inside that chat room. So they will also get it, and I'm gonna be putting that over there for them also, to where we can put that out to all the people that's in this other class. But what we got to do, we got to understand how to take a study that we have studied, that somebody gave a teaching on. And I'm not talking about all these other teachers on how they do, because they thought pattern, excuse me, they like to go outside the book and do all these other things. So I'm not speaking on their behalf. I'm speaking on myself, Elder Jenkins, and Elder T. I'm speaking on their behalf. Now we have some other teachers that'll be coming, and I'll be speaking on their behalf. However, I'm not speaking on these other ones' behalf. I'm not speaking on other Israelites' behalf that teach. I'm not speaking on none of their behalf. I'm speaking on the ones that I personally know, and the ones that came under me, and we taught, and we going under the same direction where we hold into the Bible only. We're not doing outside studies on other books. So I will not speak on anyone else that do otherwise, because you have other ones that will teach on the Bible and the book of Jasher. They teach on the Bible and they teach on the book of Enoch. I found another guy where they sent it to me. It really shocked me. He teaches online. He even used the Book of Mormon. And it's an Israelite guy that's doing this. And they believe in joining all these books. They like to use the Bible and they like to use the book of Jubilees. So as soon as you use an outside book, as soon as you use that outside book, you automatically telling the Most High he's a liar. Why do I say that? And why is that true? He said, with his mouth, he has gathered them. This is Isaiah 34:16. With his mouth have he gathered them. He gathered all those books and compiled them. But then they want to sit there and they want to demonize and diminish the work that King James did. He commissioned them to do something, but then they want to say that this black man was a white homosexual. Why? To pull you from the book. But you got to remember how slick they are. The same as they did Colin Powell, told him it was weapons of mass destruction. And he did what he did. And the reason he ended up stepping down after that, once he found out they lied to him, the same thing they're doing to you. Meaning what? They're telling you this black man, this black king who was the king of Scotland, he was the sixth king of Scotland. He was the first king of England. They want to say this black man was a white homosexual, and they scoured the web with those images. The same way they scoured Facebook to do the voting for number 45 to get in office. They're doing the same thing, but then many of us believed it, and they believe that he's a white homosexual guy. This is the main reason why we have Gentiles over here in America today. Why? Because he was killing them over there like unreal. Not just any of them, but the ones who was into that witchery and all that Christmas, all that sickness. He was getting rid of those, because that's why he said, in the Bible it says he suffered not a witch to live. So King James was in on that. King James also had 9 children, spoke 7 languages. But what they do, they pull you away from the book to put you in their book. They put you in the NIVs, they put you in the NASBs, they put you in the NLTs, they put you in the ESVs, they put you in the Septuagint, they put you in all these other books to pull you away from the Bible itself that was written for Israelites. And it was translated by an Israelite for Israelites. And they said, no, we want you to get away from that one. Hold on to this one. This was a white homosexual. If it was a white homosexual, then you tell me, then they need to be able to answer this to me. Tell me, how can a homosexual, white homosexual, he put in there and it tell you he of a mankind that lived with another man as he lied with a woman is an abomination and he should be killed. Why would a homosexual put that or allow that to be in the book? He was striking that out the book, period. It wouldn't be there. What we have to do is start using our mind and understanding what's going on. But then you have to understand who is delivering you these messages. They went as far as they want to canonize. They talking about they're going to canon the Bible. So what they're going to do, they're going to put a stronghold on the word of God. They're going to tell you with these canon who are Gentiles, have nothing to do with the Bible, tell you what they feel is expired, is inspiration of God and what is not. They removed the entire Apocrypha. Why? Because it tells you how they operate. They don't even tell you that. They want to move Hebrews. They want to move Revelation. They want to move Jude. They want to remove quite a few books out of the Bible. But then most people hold to what they say, what this canonization is, which is silliness. These are men not inspired of God men who read it and said, no, we can't use this. Now this can wake them up. But then you have the same people who do the canonization. It's the same people put out the slave Bible. Most people don't say anything. Most people don't sit there and think nothing too big about it. But we want to hold to what they tell you. So we have to understand. And when we deal with things like this, understand where your information is coming from. Understand who's doing certain things. So that's why they dislike certain things that I would say. They, same thing. You bring up that Reby and everybody else. Same thing. You shut anybody down on precepts. So what they do, they will discredit and try to discredit the person. So mainly what they'll do, even what you'll see what they do with on the channel over here, they'll sit there and they will mark and just say that's not true. They can't show no verses. That's not true. That's it. No, that's not true. No, that don't mean that. No, it don't mean that. No, this is true. They want to tell you, well, the book of Enoch spawned from America. It didn't spawn from the original place. It spawned from America. But then they are raising Enoch to a level to where he's given control in the heavens. All you gotta do is go look at his book. Go look at his book. It's telling you that, how he's controlling everything. This man didn't come to God till after he was 65 years old, after he had Methuselah. But now he is given the ranking even above Yahushua, but they're not saying that. But he's having the same type of ranking of Yahushua, but then they're using these back and forth, telling you lies. They want to tell you that in the book of Jasher, where they're talking about the coat, the coat of skin that was made for Adam, saying who got it. The coat of skin, it's right here. So it shows you the silliness on how people teach. So this is why it was so important. That's why I felt it was really more important when we put out the book and when we was going to go through and just give you preceptional foundational precepts to where you can understand stuff preceptually. That's why I did that. But then I took the other step, which well, I ain't gonna throw him under the bus, but I have another one who I greatly respect. Yeah, he felt we shouldn't have put it there, but I've wanted to put in those affiliations. And same thing, like what we're doing today, and I see in here what they talking about the biblical calendar. We literally is showing you clearly how to perceptually study on the lesson of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's all I'm addressing. That's what I'm gonna be addressing. When you start telling me, what about this, what about that, I'm not going to address that. So no, that's I'm not dealing with that. But the main thing is we want to understand how to perceptually study, because this person been asking me for a while. So I said, I'm gonna do this one study. And that's why it kind of just popped up to where I'm gonna do this study, just to show them how you take a lesson that I've taught, Elder Jenkins taught, or Elder T taught, how you take it and get in the mind on where we coming from, and then you can pull precepts that we miss. Now, the key thing is this. I'm going to show you part in this to where we can see some of what's going on. Meaning what? That precept study Bible, you're going to find out why those precepts in understanding word meanings is more important. That's the importance of using that book. And we're going to see that in this study actually, and you're going to see how you pull it. Spiritual precepts is one thing, but I put foundational precepts in there. But with those affiliations, give you all the keys that you need. And I've seen that even from some of my students, to where they use the same book, and one was literally shocking the mess out of me on what they was able to find just on the foundation precept. But they also have some precepts, some spiritual precepts for understanding. So they have a great deal of that. So they was able to pull a lot of stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through this and we're going to get an understanding what mindset that I'm in when we do this and how to actually do the preceptual study. So what I'm going to do here, because he's telling me to get some more people, but let me see. Yes. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I want to allow them. Yeah. No, I do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm allowing them. So what happened is this. So all of them who's all registered just now, we made sure all of them was approved. So all you guys, and I do have my elders and some brothers that, I got a couple of elders that's in there. So all you guys are moved over to where you guys can go through and then you can get in there. So, and then from that point, I still can believe I can go in there while I'm doing the study to where you can get it. Because once I'm finished, I'm gonna convert this over into a PDF to where you guys can download it and then you can do even further studies. So that's the purpose of it. But the main thing, the good part of this is what you want to understand is have the Precept Study Bible, if you have one, to go through it. So what I'm gonna do right now, what we want to do, I'm gonna switch my screen and we're gonna do a couple of things. So one second, let me do this. Let me just take care of this and set this up for you. I tell you, I was running, me and Elder Jenkins, we sit there, we'll get to talking and this kind of what happens. But, so I'm putting this up there. And we're gonna, let me do this. I'm gonna put a border on it. Uh-oh. And what I'm gonna do, and now let me and this is actually something that you would want to have with your studies. This is something that you would want to have. So what I'm getting ready to do now, I'm getting ready to switch over, and then I will also be doing this with quite a few people. So everybody who registered so far, you guys should be able to get in. So if you haven't gotten in, you should be able to get in right now. So what I'm doing right now, I'm switching this over to where now you guys can see my screen and you'll see I'm getting ready to go through this study here to where we can understand what is happening. So what we want to do, we want to understand how to preceptually study a lesson that was taught. And we have to come to the mindset of understanding what is happening. Meaning what? We want to understand, one second, I want to check something. I want to check one thing and make sure we're fine on that. Want to make sure we're good there. And okay, so we're good to where I can still see something. I still will need to be able to need it. And yes, that is correct. Rick Wallace, you need to register. The link is right there inside this part of YouTube. You can click right up under the comment section, right up under that part of that section. You can click there. You see where you can register. And then I will come back in and I will check it. And I see we have a couple of other ones. So I'm making sure you guys are able to come in. So right now, everybody's currently who registered, you should be approved to where you can come back there. So what we're going to do is get the understanding on what we need to do. Let me pull this. So what we're going to do, and you guys can come in and we can be going from there. So now what we got to do, we got to understand a couple of things. So what I'm going to do right now, the same thing, like I can see, because I see myself in the corner. So what I don't want to do is to where if I need that space, I don't want that space there. I want to make sure that I can put other things there. And let me put that. blank that out again. So now what we want to do is understand, where did the thought pattern come from of Sodom and Gomorrah? Where did that thought pattern come from? Because we're going to find out some very interesting things when we do this. We're going to find out some very interesting things. So we want to understand, where is this coming from? The people of Sodom. Where is that thought coming from? Because the people of Sodom, as I told you, they're Sodomites. Sodomites do contrary to what the Most High God said. This is the thought pattern that I enter into when I go through this study. These are people who work contrary to the Most High God. So this is what you do. And just like I said, everybody who's back here in this other area, you will get the PDF form of this. So that part you don't have to worry about. You will get that. That's why I was sitting there telling you guys need to register and come back there, because it won't be on the front to where everybody on the internet can download it. That's why. It'll be back here in the back to where they can get it. And as well with Elder Ascende and his wife, Sister Brittany, they will have it to where they can distribute it out in this other channel that we have. So they will be the ones that will have it. So let's go through and understand how this goes. So what we want to do is understand what? We want to understand the people of, the people of Sodom. Don't worry, I'm going to enlarge it. Yeah. So the people of Sodom. Now, what do we know? How do they live? How do they live, and which way do they live? So let's understand a couple of things. We're going to copy and we're going to paste this in there. And I need to put a border on. I don't know why I always forget to put a border. Really don't. Okay. Yeah. How and where do they live? That's what we want to know. So this is the thought pattern that you will go through to start understanding how to do the study, based on the teaching you had 2 weeks ago, based on the teaching that was yesterday. We found out Sodomites, or Sodom is talking about Sodomite people. Gomorrah is talking about a location. So now we understand this, and we want to understand where it's coming from, because these people are contrary to what the Most High God does. Whatever he commands, they do contrary to that. So what we got to do, we're going to go through a part. Now what we got to see here is seeing how to perceptually figure out, these are other verses that was not, that many of these verses you're going to see that we're going to do was not in the lesson. I do that on purpose. That's the reason I do that. So when other people, and they're trying to teach other people, they're going to pull other precepts to give you better understanding on what's happening. So that's why many times I don't give you extra precepts. That's why many times Elder Jenkins, that's why many times Elder T will not give you extra precepts, because I'm telling you the truth, we can literally run precepts all day long. That's the simplest, because the entire Bible is connected. So we can talk and show all the connections all day long. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go to Matthew. And we're going to go to Matthew. We're going to look at 7, 13, and 14. And we're actually going to be coming right back to that. So what do this say? So the only way to work this out, 1 second, I don't know why that came out. I don't want that to stop sharing. I know what I can do that. Okay, so what do we know? What do we know here? We got to look at this and see what this is saying. So let's go there. It says in Matthew 7, 13, and 14, it says, enter ye in the straight gate. Enter ye in the straight gate. So what we want to do, we need to put some keys here. Is one, it says what? So this straight gate means something else, but we're going to find out later. We're going to find out later. We're going to find this out through the precept. And then it says, for wide is the gate and broad is the way. So wide and broad is one and the same. You see that? See, broad and wide is one and the same. He's just repeating himself and giving you the two words of it and giving you the meaning of what he's actually saying. So then he said, and what do this do? So he's saying with this part that he's saying is what people are doing. So we got to look at this. And this is, now, if you guys going to do these preceptual studies, we're not doing this for you just to sit there, oh, that's really good. That's really good to know. And yeah, I can go and tell my friend this and then they'll screw you all up. No, you do your studies. You do your studies. So he says, and what do this do? See this wide and broad? It equals what? Destruction. That's what it leads you to. Well, we just can put this. That's what it equals. All of these equal that. So let me make this bigger. So, and let me put a border around it. And I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna be a pretty big PDF. I'm gonna tell you right now. So we know, and this is keys for verse 13. So we know this straight gate is wide and broad, meaning what? Now, with this, when you're doing your preceptual study, when they say straight, that is strict. They're going to hold to what they're going to do. No matter what, they're going to stay to that path. Well, no, it's strict. Just want that. Just want that. Strict. That's what they want to do. Because that's all it's saying. So they're going to hold to what is strictly what they're doing. No matter what. And it's wide and it's broad. That's going to lead you to destruction. So right now, we just getting the understanding on the people of Sodom, how and where do they live? They live in this way. They're going to live strict to the way that they live. You can't tell them nothing. They're going to hold to what they're going to hold to. They know everything. Whatever you say, they got a way to come back and they're going to tell you something different. That's going to end up with destruction. But we have another part here. And we have verse 14. And we want to understand what 14 said. But it says strict or straight. So we'll just take that part out. Straight is the gate. And narrow is the way. So what would narrow? How you do this? Narrow. What will you put there? Because now it's telling you and it's not giving you what that is. Are you following me? So it says narrow is the way. Narrow is the way. Now, what you got to understand, we're going to look at some things here to where you can get these understandings. So when it's saying narrow, is not there in neither part of verse 14. So it's saying straight, because straight, the gate, and narrow the way. You see that? Now, many people have different types of King James Bibles, and is might not be italicized or it might be italicized. If it's italicized, then you have a good one. If it's not, then you've got some issues. Because it's italicized. So to italicize, it tells you that word is actually not there. It was put there for clarification. It was put there for clarification. Many people will hold all words in the Bible for doctrine that was written by the people who wrote the books. And that's not true. These was put here by translators that was commissioned by King James to help you understand, because words can have completely different meanings. So they knew the meaning of those words. So they put these words in there and they made them out of affiliations to where we can get the understanding to where now it can tell you what it's saying. But they put that to italicize in there because they're not trying to lie to you. They're not trying to fool you. They're not trying to deceive you in any way. So they saying, when they translate, they say, okay, this is what they wrote. I'm to italicize in mine because this is not what they wrote, but this is what this is actually saying, just to clarify. So with you, you can use it or don't use it because it's italicized. That's what they did that for. So it says, because straight is the gate, or straight the gate and narrow the way, narrow the road is what it's saying. So now we know, and that's all it's saying. Now they didn't have a translated thing back there on what they were saying to do it, but narrow the way, because the only way you can get somewhere is through the road. That's it. And it's showing you which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. You follow me? So we found all this here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change this. We're gonna change this blue to make sure all of them connected, because we got some other ones we have to put up there. So now we got all these are blue. So we know all those are connected. Now, this is where it becomes important. This is where it becomes very, very important. Meaning what? Okay, now, how do we know what keys do we need to know? Because we know this is strict. So we got this is strict. This is, and actually this is, I'm glad I went back down and looked at it, because this leadeth to life. So strict in this road is leads to life. So now we know that. So we know strict road leads to life. Mean what? Straight, narrow roads leads to life. It's going to say the same. I don't care how we flip it. It's going to keep saying the same thing. And this is part of what you do when you study, and when you want to do a study with people to tear down, to get them to understand what is happening. And then when you can regurgitate it back, and then you can give it to people who have less knowledge to where you can help feed them. That's what this does. So now what keys do we need to key in up here? Because these are people of Sodom. And I'm going to show you the key. Now, everybody who has that study Bible, see right here, I want you to look at this word right here. I'm going to bold this, and I'm going to underline it. Why? Because that's what you need to focus in on. Wide, broad, because it's telling you from up there at the top. Why? Because in verse 13 it says, enter ye in through the straight gate, wide. Remove is the gate, broad is your key. Is your key. That's your key. That's why I underlined it. How can we find this? How can we find what is he talking about Why is we talking about the people of Sodom and we talking about Gomorrah? How do we find this out? And many people going to have their study Bibles. So we have many that were sold. So we're going to pull this out and we're going to pull the study Bible out. So I want you guys to pull your study Bible out. Some people like to market them. That's fine, because I do the same thing most times. So what we're going to do in the study Bible, we're going to find something that's going to be very, very, very important. Very important. Meaning what? I want you guys to go to, because this is still part of the keys, I want you to go to Genesis and I want you to go to chapter 10. Chapter 10, and I want you to go to verse 11. Don't want that. Genesis chapter 10, verse 11. And then I'm going to clear all this out. Why? Because we want something that's there. We want something that's there. So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 11. I'm going to put it in there and I'm going to show you what we want. I'm going to put it in there and show you what we want. And this is why it's so important on why we say affiliations is your key. Affiliations is your key to everything. This is, that's why I tell people many times, to speak Hebrew, I'm cool with. However, did it show me everything that I need to know? No, it didn't. So people sit there, oh no, Hebrew is the key. Oh, it helps me out with my studies. But you can see it didn't matter, because I was doing it for my personal reasons. But he's sending me to people who speak fluent English, their first language. So I can't teach you, well, see, this mean this in Hebrew and this mean this. It's going to keep you confused. He's like, no, I didn't tell you to do that. You went and did that on your own, but you still going to my people and you're going to teach them in English. You're not going to be Burger King. You work for me. And that's why I teach the way I teach. So that's why I don't try to bend it, and I teach you in English, and I can show you the precepts, and that's why the precepts is very clear. So now what we're going to do is look at a couple of things. And now we see it says, out of the land went forth Asher, who was part of who? Where the promise was coming through. Shem. Same thing. So we have that, and they the ones that went and built the city of Nineveh. But the key is, if you have your precept study Bible, you're going to find out what this means. This is your key. Why? What do it mean? Many people have your study Bible, and now we know what this means. That's what this means. That's your key. Broad places. The city of Rabbah. Broad places. This is an untranslated word that means this. And if you have your precept study Bible, that's the importance of having that. This is why you can actually now, with this, it opens up a whole nother door for you. So now you have a key to where now you can go through another door. You have a key to go through another door. So now we understand, when you look at that and you see what went on, now we see where the destruction was broad. Meaning what? It's letting you know it was a city. It tells you that. The city is broad places. So you have many cities that are broad. So I don't care how you flip it around, script it out, do whatever you want to do. This is what's happening. Now, before I move forward, I want to make sure I want to make sure everybody's good, because this is going to be quite a bit. We have yeah, I told you I don't have a problem. And let me see. Okay, I got all them approved. So everybody who wasn't approved now is approved. You guys can come in. You're more than welcome. And what I'm getting ready to do, I'm gonna stop sharing for one hot second. And let me go back in here. Tell you I wasn't prepared, but it kind of been doing me like this for a while. So best thing I can do right now is do this. So what I'm doing right now, if anybody have any questions right now, I want you to put it in there right now if you can, to where if you're in the Zoom, all you have to do is put your hand up, and I'm gonna pull you up to where you can talk. This is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna pull you up to where you can talk. If you have a question concerning this, just put your hand up, and then I can bring you up, and then you can present your question. So if you have one, because if not, once I say I'm gonna move forward, please do not put your hand up. But if you have a question right now, put your hand up, and we can come up, we can find out what your question is, and we can move forward from there. And so far we have nothing that's there, and they're not on a delay, so I know they can hear me as I'm talking. So the only ones that's on a slight delay is on YouTube, based on how they set up everything. So again, if you have a question on what you've seen so far, put your hand up. I'm gonna pull you up, and then we can deal with that question. And we have Elder T. And Elder T, how you doing? Shalom, my brother.
Shalom, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you, my brother.
Shalom, how you doing, Elder?
I'm good.
I guess my question would be, what would, when you come up with your subject ideas, what motivates you, and what prompt you to go in that direction? Like with me, if I have a subject, I'll call you and tell you the subject that I'll come up with. What's your motivation, and what prompts you for the Most High lead you in that direction to come up with the subjects that you come up with, Sodom and Gomorrah? Is it something that you see happening in the Christian churches, or different doctrines being preached, things like that?
Okay, yeah. Majority of the time what happens is to where he leads me in a direction to where I will end up teaching on. And based on, I can be driving, just meditating on scripture, and that's mainly what I kind of do. Because I can be driving, and about 99.9% of the time, I do not have my radio on. I'm just driving and just meditating. So that's mainly what happens. And as I'm thinking, and then most time what he'll do, he'll lead me to certain directions, to where some scriptures will come out, and then the scripture, even though I know them by heart on many of them, I still go look at it. And then when I go look at it, it'll prompt me to say, Ron, tell you what, this is something that I need to be teaching on, and it'll be leading me. And now the biggest part is when I go back, and now I'll start laying down the foundation. Once I start laying down the foundation, he will lead me. And literally tons of precepts will come there, but then I only can limit it because I try to keep it. Well, people are going to swear up and down I'm lying, I guarantee you. But I tried to keep it under an hour. Kid you not. Even when I teach today, I try to keep them under an hour. But I don't, it's a whole different. I work for him, so what he wants you to know, he wants you to know it. And whatever time it takes, it takes. So for me to do that, so once he leads me to that way, now if it's something that I want to teach, and I just want to teach it because I want to teach that, then most times it is I will struggle, and it works like clockwork. I struggle with trying to precept it. I can get the precepts, but then it'll run me to so many different directions. It'll say, okay, well, I need to explain this. Now this is going to take about 20 or 30, precepts to get this one kind of correct. But then I got to explain this, and it gives me a whole lot of where I have to do a whole lot of explanations on a whole lot of different things. And that's 90% of the time. Every time I tried to teach something on my own to where I was led to do that, my own self is what he'll do. He'll put me in the mind of confusion, which most times it will frustrate me. And then I have done some to where I was almost completely finished with. And when I got ready to teach it, he'll put this same verse back before me. And then I have to go ahead and do it. And many times this happened to me on Thursday nights. This has happened on Fridays. And I have to teach on Sabbath day. And I have to prepare everything just like I normally do. But then I always adhere to it. And the first thing I do, I try to sit there and I was going to teach on that. I can go, but it's not what he wanted. So if it's not what he wanted, I just go in and I just trash it. And then I just do the other one. And, sometimes the first couple of times I had to stay up pretty late to do them. And I think that was chasing the moment to where I had to pay for it. And he did it that way. But most times what he'll do, it'll lead me to that thing. Many times what he'll also do is take you to other scriptures to what you'll see. Many times you'll see things that is out there. You'll see things that's out there. And sometimes it'll weigh on your heart to where, guess what? It'll also take you to where it'll lean you towards to teach on something, because that's something, that passion is put there to where he wants you to explain to his people who they are, what's going on, what's happening. So he'll break that down, because the same thing, like I know a lot of time what directions you want to go. A lot of time, Elder Jenkins, I know strong-heartedly the direction he tries to go to, because I know what he's trying to do. And what he's trying to do is what the Most High put on him. So that I know him pretty well in doing that. And then we have many other ones where I'm speaking to, and then they have ways that they want to go and do it. So the main thing is what tell you even more so now. The other one that I was going to be teaching on before Sodom and Gomorrah was a whole nother teaching. But what happened when I came into, and it's actually done. It was done with no problem, but it was through some things that happened to where he said, bring this forth. And Elder Jenkins will actually tell you, and that was put together. And actually, I think it took a day and a half to do it. I was already ready, but I already had Sodom done. I had Gomorrah done. I had them both pretty much done. And then just put them together and then just put them out. But the main thing is, most people think Sodom and Gomorrah is talking about something else, and it's not. Sodom and Gomorrah is literally talking about people of Sodom, and they were going to the city of Gomorrah. So mainly when I do a teaching, I let him lead me, him guide me on what I'm going to be teaching on. Same thing, like right now, personally, I have a couple of things that I have in mind I want to teach on, but I let him lead me to where he's going to direct me on what to teach on. And then I see what the teaching for next week could be, and I do it. Sometime I have it today. Sometime it won't come to me until Wednesday or Thursday. Technically what happens. So any other questions? Any other questions? I don't think we, 1 second. We don't have any other ones. Yeah, so we don't have no other ones. Okay, so now we can, I don't know why I keep doing that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to find out a little bit more on what's happening here, because now we're going to find out what the broad places. So with these broad places, let me switch this back up. And I'm gonna move myself again out of the way. So now I'm moved out of the way to where you can understand. So we know Rabbah mean broad places. Rabbah mean broad places. So now that we know that, and you're using the Precept Study Bible to where you can find out that affiliation, because that's what that was. That was an affiliation for you to know what that meant. And that's gonna pull you for everything else. So we know the city, what it means, and what it's going through. So now we know these are Sodomites. So now we're going to see how Sodomites and Sodom works. Now, this is some of the things in one of the verses that was not put in the teaching yesterday, which should be in a study that you do. So let's look at this. We're going to copy, we're going to paste, and we're going to see some of the ways that they run. Meaning what? We're going to go right here, and you're going to find something real interesting. Something real interesting. We're going to go to 14, 21 through 23. We can take all this out, but I'm going to leave that broad places there. So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 14, 21 to 23. This is helping you to where you can do the study based on what you see and based on what was taught. And now you're doing the preceptual study to where you're going to do the study on the lesson and understand what happened. It says, and the king of Sodom said to Abraham. Now you understand what it's saying. In Genesis 14, 21, the king of Sodom. Why was that not put in the lesson? See, that's the question should come to your mind. Why wasn't that put in the lesson? Because it wasn't put in the lesson because those are things to where we want you to find through the precept, because now you know the king of Sodom said to Abraham. But it even got more than that if you want to look at it. You can go up a little bit and you can even see who was that king of Sodom, who did he run to? You see that in verse 17. It says, and the king of Sodom went out and met after the return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer with the kings were with him. Who was he hanging with? He was hanging with the king of Sodom. He was hanging with the Melchizedek. That's who he was with, looking for protection. But watch what the king of Sodom say. That's your key. The king of Sodom said to Abraham, give me the persons and take thy goods for thyself. He's trying to make him become a Sodomite. Now you see the deeper part of what was going on here. Give me the people, but take the goods for thyself. You just take that. And what did Abraham say? What did he say? I had lifted up my hands to Yahweh, the most high God and possessor of heaven and earth. And what did he say? I will not take from a thread, even a shoe latch, that I will not take anything that is thine. Meaning what? He's not going to bow down to nothing. Least thou sayest what? I made Abraham rich. Are you following what he's saying? Are you seeing now the deeper part on what he's talking about? Sodom said, give me the people back, but take that for you. Now, with that, you should understand what he's saying. With that, you should understand what he's saying. What's the precept to this? Because right here, he wanted to earthly. Abraham said that wasn't happening. I don't know why that won't shrink. Well, won't shrink. Well, oh, wait a minute. Mike can do this. Mike, yep, it'll work. So this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to make Abram rich earthly. Now, precepts should give you the understanding and you already know where to go. Many people know where to go already. But the same thing, which one of the precepts that we did see to understand how to get this, which was not in the teaching, was this one. Uncle Ezra, 9 verse 12. And what do Uncle Ezra say? Uncle Ezra, he tells you, now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to the children forever. You see that? And you also tie into what? But in Deuteronomy 23 and verse 6. Why? Moses of the law tells you the same identical thing. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all the days forever. Of who? In the broad places. Where? That leads to destruction. Who's offering it? The king of Sodom. The king of Sodom. Now we sitting there, we pulling other things in there. Well, actually, let's see. Oh, shoot. Let me just. So we know now not to seek their peace or their wealth. It's clear as day. That's why Abraham said that. Abraham knew the law. That's why in the law, Ezra knew the law. And they quoting from where? From what Moses penned. This is the mind you need to have. So how do we know who these people are? How do we know who they are? So we're going to come back over here, and we're going to put a little outburst right there. We're going to put a little outburst right there. I want to put that one there because we're going to find out who these people are. We have to find out who they are. So to find out who they are, let's go somewhere. These are not in the teachings, but we want to understand what it's saying, and we have to do the study on our own to find out. So let's go to Revelations chapter 11, verse 8. Revelations chapter 11, verse 8. These are verses that's not in there. But to do the studies, when you study the Bible, we have to figure out, okay, how did this teacher come to this study? And now he tells you. He says, in their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city. Wait a minute. That great city, that broad places, same place. Which spiritually is called what? Sodom, and you also have Egypt. Where also our Lord was crucified. They killed him in Sodom. This is who killed him. Sodomites. That was still in bondage. Not freeing their minds from what was going on. That's why I said, which spiritually called Sodom in Egypt. You're the people of the spirit of Satan, and your mind is in bondage to Egypt. This is how you understand what was happening in the Bible. So here we know now so now we know this. Straight is the gate, and same thing like I said before, from the beginning. Those in verse 13 and 7:13, they will not hold to the Most High word. They're going to be word contrary. They're called Sodom, spiritually, in Egypt. Is everybody understanding that? Is everybody getting what this is being said? So this is why we want to come to and understand what is happening all the time. So I want to make sure we get everything that's going through to where we can get everything. So same thing, I want to check. Make sure everybody who need to be in, and we have a couple of others. Okay, we just approved the others. So you guys are approved. So now, if you understand everything, we're good. But if you don't understand something right now, you can put your hand up in here to where you can speak to me, because it's a lot simpler than typing. Way simpler than typing. That's another reason why I did it this way. So if you want to sit there and go through. So now, do we have anybody have any questions based on what we got so far? Any questions? Now I know the people in the class, they can hear me as I talk. The ones on YouTube, you can only hear me as after a delay. So do we have any questions so far on what we going so far? Because we have quite a few more to go. But you seeing how to do a perceptual study on the teaching, on the lesson that was already given. That's what's happening. And we have Brother Smalls. Yeah, how you doing, my brother? Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear. I was muted. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same thing that Satan was offering Yahushua in Matthew 4. Sodom.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That's one in there.
4 and
so when you say when he said all you have to do is what?
Offer him the body yourself.
Yeah, but what do that verse say?
4 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fall down and worship him.
That's doing what? That's spiritually what?
Spiritually bondage. That's committing fornication, adultery.
Keep going. Keep going. You don't even have to stop. You can just keep
all
going.
those fornication, adultery, idolatry, imagery.
Keep going. Keep going. So
Every,
yeah.
breaking every law.
Yeah, exactly the point. So the same thing is how you seeing this here and it runs you to what you're doing. Because that's what you sitting there, you saying, wait a minute, this was the same thing offered to Yahweh Shai. Yeah, same thing. No difference. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Was the same thing offered to Adam?
Yes.
Exactly the point. Exactly the point. These things is being offered. Now, Yahweh Shai didn't take it. What did Adam and them do?
They took it.
They took it.
Why?
They sitting there, his desire to make one wise and all. They took that. So this is how that's how you put all that together. So the same thing is, so as you do that study, you tear down what was being taught, and then you tear it down, and then you put all yours there to where now when you teach somebody, you not only have what was tore down from what you seen, now you go in and you doing your own tear down, and now you sitting there, now you got more ammunition, because just like I said, it's a lot of stuff we don't put in there. It's a lot of stuff in my teaching I never put in there because I want you to go do the study. Yeah, same as you said, you come up with more things to sit there and see and understand. Now, I'm gonna tell you what, man, dang, that was the same thing was offered to Yahweh Shai. Yeah, same thing, no difference. No difference. Showed him all the glory of him. Showed him all the glory. But he's telling you one thing. You just bow and you worship me though. That dude over there, he want to pay you once you're dead and he got to raise up later. He gonna pay you then. I'm gonna pay you right now. And many people accept it. So excellent question, my brother. But actually, yeah, but that's the way, but that's the run through. That's the run through, my brother. So I don't know if we have any other questions. We have any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, we got Elder T. Okay, Elder T.
Shalom, shalom, everyone.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You want to tell you what?
Still playing?
Brother Smalls, man, got a deep voice. He's a little bit louder. I had to turn it up some more the way I can make sure everybody can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
It sounds like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, because brother Smalls, his voice is boom. It just hit. I can keep it kind of normal. Okay.
Now, the flip side of that, would that be when in Genesis 28, when Jacob vowed to God, the 28th chapter, when he said, just give me food and raiment. That's all I need. My God, that would be the flip side to that, the spiritual side.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Now your key thing on there, which all that spiritual what you're using, you put that over there. The reason why, and to make it more so, now what did our father Jacob in the flesh ask for?
He vowed a vow saying, if Yahweh will be with me and keep me along this way that I go, bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come into my father's house in peace, then Yahweh should be my Elohim.
Now, what do people ask for in churches today?
Prosperity in the material sense, the monetary gain, and fancy cars and big houses and so forth and so on.
Name it, claim it. And it's telling you right there, Solomon did the perfect thing. Hey, Moses, I need you to give me some wisdom, man. I need to know how to do. You want me to be over your people? I need to know what's going on. He said, but since you didn't ask for riches for yourself, And then he did what he did. But all of us ask for riches for ourselves. We come on, and then you got these guys, they come on with all this prosperity gospels. You got this weird Gentile who comes out, you put this water and sprinkle it around your house, you get a check for $40,000, $50,000. It's silliness that comes there. But that's spiritually called Sodom. Those are Sodomites. And they the ones keep you locked in bondage. So yeah, so same thing, but you see how it'll pull other verses in there. And I'm trying to see other ones that anybody else had any other questions. But the main thing is we want to make sure we understand how Sodom was put together. And that's technically what you're seeing. That's the preceptual study how you're seeing how it was actually put together. So, and do we have any other questions? Any other question before we move forward? Because if not, we're going to move forward because we still, we got a little bit more. Got a few more. Any other questions? And then I'm seeing any from YouTube, but that's why I prefer you guys to come to the other side because we don't have to type. We can actually have a conversation. So nothing so far. So let's go ahead and we're going to move forward. Nothing there. No hands, no questions. We have no questions. Okay, so let's move forward. Let me put this back up and we're going to move forward. And let me get myself again out of the way. So now we understand in Revelations 11:8 that it's spiritually called Sodom, but bondage is what you're in. Because spiritually, you're called a Sodomite. Sodomite. Because that's what Sodom is. It's a Sodomite. In Egypt is called bondage. And you can see that all through scripture if you want to understand what that actually is. Because you can also catch it in Exodus 2:20. You can actually see that it's actually called bondage. And you'll see that also in a couple of other places. So now we know that broad is the way. And that's also spiritual confusion that you have. Spiritual confusion that you have. How do we know that this is great confusion? We're going to see that also. Let's copy and paste another one. Now, all this is still stemming from broad. All this is stemming from broad. That's why we need to know what broad means. That's why I told you, most people sit there and they say, man, I look at the first 5 books and it's just the first 5 books. The first 5 books is the foundation to the entire Bible. That's why you need to know what these things mean, not according to what some dictionary, according to what he says it is. So if we know what stuff mean, we know how to pull verses to get what he's telling us. Meaning what? That's why he called it city Rabbah, broad places. Are you in that city? This is why I keep telling people every time, this is why when I put out that precept study Bible, that's why those affiliations and stuff is there to where you can get this. Besides just giving you foundational precepts, if you have the affiliations, these are things you're going to pull. But the same thing, I don't believe, because me and Brother Smalls spoke yesterday. Me and him had a real good conversation yesterday. But, he's a real knowledgeable brother. Very knowledgeable brother. And the main thing is, it's a lot of things he can relate to, but he's coming into where he's speaking and just learning to where his speech going to give him away. Meaning what? His speech is going to give him away based on he's learning the language strictly of the Most High. Once you understand the language, he's going to have to learn how to be bilingual. So when he talks to regular people, he don't have to talk in this format. Meaning what? He won't have to sit there because he's going to be speaking of the mind of the Most High. So he got to learn how to speak on the carnal side, because he's going to be speaking so much on the other side. They're going to think he like, well, they still going to probably think he crazy, but this is what he's going to be speaking. And many of us do this today. We'll start speaking where we're learning another language, which you're learning here, and then you start speaking differently, and then the first thing people think, you're crazy. Why? Because you precept in the Bible and you speak according to precepts, they're going to think you're crazy. Every time you sit there and somebody want to bring up something about the Bible, the first thing that you do is sit there and say, I need to see it in scripture. They're going to think you're crazy. These are things that's going to happen. These are things that goes on. So that's why it's so important to completely understand how to understand his language according to precepts. So let's move forward. And now we're going to sit here and we're looking at Revelations. We're still going to be part of Revelations because we want to understand what this is, this confusion. We want to understand what this confusion is. We're going to go to 16 and we're going to look at 19 through 21. And then we're going to change this also. We're going to change this, but let's go there first, see what it is, and then we'll change it accordingly. So let's see what this is. And watch how this even speaks. It says, and the great city was divided into three parts. The great city was divided into three parts. And the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High. So you don't want him to have a remembrance of your sins. That's the biggest problem we have. Because we don't remember our sins, and we just think we're cool. We just ask for forgiveness when we do something and then continually do it. And you know you're doing wrong, and you do it again. And then it comes before him, and he remembers. He remembers, we got a problem. Because if we do it, and then once it comes to your remembrance and you stop doing it, he can sit there and say, okay, he got that. So he can throw that into the sea of forgetfulness. He ain't got to remember that no more because he know you know better, and you've been showing through your works of repentance that you're going the right way. So they'll have to come back to his remembrance. And then watch what happens. It says, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Why? Because it came to his remembrance. It came to his remembrance. And every island fled away, and the mountains was not found. And there fell upon men a great hail, which goes on in Gomorrah, out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. We got a problem of a talent. I'm not going to even get into that. I'm not going to even get into that. Yeah, best let me just move forward. And men blaspheme Yahweh because of the plague of the hail. Do you see how that confusion is? They're going to blaspheme him, and you getting stones out of heaven at the weight of a talent. That's enough to crack your skull open. And then the plague thereof was exceedingly great. So the people of Sodom do what? The people of Sodom do what? As I said, I got to do this. They blaspheme God. They do everything contrary to what God do. These are scriptures that you don't see in the teaching, but for you to do your deeper study. So now we know a few things, and now we understand. And now to sit there while Abraham even made this statement here, we got to come back over here. And now we know why Abraham made the statement. One, Sodom speaks against God, but they know who he is. Why? Because Sodom, when he got in problems and he didn't want to die, who did he go to? He went to Melchizedek. Because he knew Abraham wasn't going to knock him off there. But if he wasn't there, he was going to get knocked off. So let's look at this some more. We're going to go a little bit deeper on the study. These are studies that you need to see. So now, why did Abraham hold to what he did? We got to look at this. This is what he did. We want to go there, and now we can understand the mind of Abraham on why he did what he did. And we're going to look at Psalms 49, verse 5 and 6. It says, wherefore should fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of the hill shall compass me about. Why? For they trust in what? Their wealth. That's why he told Abraham, give me back the people, but you take that stuff for yourself. Because they was trusting, okay, he'll leave us alone doing this, and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches. What did Abraham say? I don't want you to say you made me rich. Look at verse 7. None of them can be any means redeem his brother, nor give God a ransom for him. Now we get a better understanding. Now we're getting a better understanding on why you do the studies. Because why? We're getting ready to find out. We got to see that we're going to see a repeat of the same thing. Meaning what? Meaning what? Matthew 7 and 14. You see it right there. Right back at the beginning. And what do Matthew? Actually, we want 7:13. I'm sorry. I don't know why I went to 7:14. 7:13. And I see it right up there. 7:13. Mean what? It says, enter ye through the straight gate, for broad is the way leadeth to destruction. This is why we had that problem. There we go. I need to disconnect that. That's how we know. Rabah leads you to destruction. We know that now. We clearly know. So let's separate this. Oh, wait a minute, I can't even do it that way. Can do it that way. So I want to change this. We're going to use 714. Because what? Strict is what? Verse 14. Strict is narrow, which leadeth to life. How do we know? How do we know? How do we know this? We got to find out exactly what is happening there. We have to find out what's happening there. What is going on here? Because we know strict is something that we have to do. He give you strict things to do. So we know that this is the key to everything. That is your key. Let me bold it. Or underline it. How do we know this is your key? We're going to find out. We're going to find out exactly what this is saying. And who we going to go to? I told y'all he liked to talk a lot. He liked to talk a lot. I got to go to Uncle Idris. Uncle Idris tells everything. That's why I'm real partial to him, because he tells you whatever you want to know. Whatever you want to know, I go to Uncle Idris quite a bit. Most people know that, who knows me very well. They know I live in his books. And we know right there, it's going to tell you, it says, for Yahweh have given what? Strict commandments. He's given a strict commandment. To such came what they should do to live. So now we know strict commandment to live. Uh-oh. Many of these verses are not in the teaching. Why? Because this stuff we should have found when we go do our own study. And this says, even as they came, and they should observe to avoid punishment. What did he say when he do a visitation? What did he say when he come into remembrance? You have a problem. You have a problem. So the main thing is you prove something where many are going to always tell you that broad places, because you have many people going to go to these places, and they can say, I can still go to the church because he said one thing, that forsake not assembling of yourselves. So only go for that reason. No, you're going for more reason than that. Your spirit jives with their spirit. Your spirit jives with their spirit. So the same thing as we see, we have one that will talk, and actually I need to put this right there, and we're going to go to another verse, and this is all within Sodom. So we need to see something. We're going to go to Jeremiah 5, 1 and 2. Let's see what Jeremiah is talking about. Let's see what he's talking about. He said, run ye to and fro through the streets of Israel. That's what all it's saying. Jerusalem, Israel. And see now and know and seek in the what? Broad places thereof. Wow. If ye can find one man, mankind, woman or man, of there be any that executeth judgment that seeketh the truth. And he tell him what it say right there? And the Most High said, I will pardon it. He will pardon that whole place. He'll pardon the entire place. You go through those places, in these broad places, you go in all these churches that's sitting there doing something contrary to God. He say, you go in the streets, you go from building to building, from corner to corner, from house to house, that's teaching you contrary to the Most High. He's saying, you find one that's telling you the truth and seeking the truth, he's going to pardon everybody. That's what he's saying. Verse 2. And though they say, the Lord liveth, they say the Lord liveth, surely they swear falsely. Jeremiah. So how do we sum that up? Broad places seeks false judgment. Why? Because they're going to lie to you, telling you everything going to happen in good as long as you're here. Broad places seeks false judgment. And many going to seek these broad places and then when they try to go through the straight gate, they're not able to get in. So then when they want to go over here, they can't get in. And we'll just do this. We'll do this. We'll do that right here. Let me put that there. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, you guys. We'll do this here. We'll tie that. Let me do this here. Let me put a border on it. There we go. So now we got a border on. So these are God ways. They're strict and narrow that leads to life. But now, as I said, we have some people who's going to try to go through this way and still think they're going to come over here. How true is that? Many going to go the other way. And they think they're going to be able to get in. So as he said, he's going to go through all Jerusalem. So let's look at this. Let's see. We're gonna put this in here, and I'm gonna put that there. And actually, I'm gonna turn this another color because it can't be this color. So we're gonna put it yellow. Why? Because we gotta see something. We gotta see something. We're gonna go to Luke 13. We're gonna go to 21, All right. We're going to go all the way to 24. And this, you know this is going to change. So you know this is going to change, but let's go there and just understand. And actually, I think I might have went too high. Actually started at 22. I'm sorry. Start this at 22. Made a mistake. Let's do it at 22. We're going to go to 24. It says, and he went through the cities. What did Jeremiah just say? Go all through Jerusalem and do this. And see if you find one. But watch what he said. He went through the cities and villages teaching and journeyed towards Jerusalem. Then said one to him, Lord, are there few that be saved? Are there few that be saved? You see the question. And he said unto them, what? Strive to enter in at the straight gate, the strict gate, the hard one, the narrow one. Many, I will say to you, will seek to enter in, who's in this broad gate, who's in this broad city, and shall not be able to enter in. Meaning what? Oh, shoes. So I need to get that. Let me undo that. Will not enter into life. Well, let's do it better. Will not enter into eternal life. Make it a little bit clear. Why are they not going to be able to enter in? He's making himself clear all the time. This is why we know and how to pull the study in itself. This is how we know. How do we know? Actually, I don't care for the green color. Actually, I turn it back red. How do we know? Matthew 7:23. Matthew 7:23. What do it say? It says, then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me. Why? You of the city of Sodom works iniquity, that works destruction. So he cannot accept you. So he cannot accept this. But people think he can, and he will not, and he can't. Why? Why is this? Why is he so caught up into this way? We have to look at what he's speaking about all the time. What he's talking about all the time. Because this is telling you about what it is. It's telling you about what it is. That broad place here is what? That broad place is called a certain place. You got to look at it. Jeremiah 22, verse 8. Jeremiah 22, verse 8. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. But most people are not understanding the difference on what's happening. People are not understanding the difference on what's happening. Why? Because of what's going on. So we're going to look at Jeremiah 22 and verse 8. We're going to see what it says. It says, and many nations shall pass by this city, and they shall say, every man to his neighbor, wherefore hath the Lord has done thus unto this great city. They done what? They done what to this great city? Done what? And he tells you. And all we have to do is finish it out. And we drop down to verse 9. It says, then they shall answer, because they have what? Forsaken the covenant, the commandment of Yahweh their God, and worshiped other gods and served them. Same as what Brother John Small was saying. Yeah, just bow down and worship me. Yeah, you're going to serve another God. It's clear as day. It's right there, right in front of you. So, done what? They worship false gods. And they've forsaken the Most High God. Why? It tells you in verse 9, it says, they've forsaken the covenant of Yahweh their God and worshiped other gods and served them. Weep not for the dead. Weep not for the dead. Neither be mourning, meaning what? Meaning what? Neither be mourning. What do that mean? See, this is why I say again, we need to know what the affiliations are of these words. This is why it's so important. So when you look at verse 10 and be mourning, you put that down, and it's BEMOAN. Most people can't tell you what that actually means, but we're going to give you his understanding on what he says it means. He said, you don't weep for them, neither be mourning. What? Show grief. Show grief to them. Feeling sorry for them. But weep sore for him that goeth away. Meaning what? The one that dies. See, the body is dead, but it's not died yet. This is why he's giving you, but weep sore for him that goeth away. See, because once you die, now you have a problem. He says, but we've sworn for him that goeth away. Why? For he shall return no more, nor see the native country. He won't see the New Jerusalem. They will see the second death. And a lot of this we could change around, but this is what is happening to us by the tonfuls. By the tonfuls. So hopefully that many of you guys understood how to actually study, tear down what went on, and you see all the other verses that comes to this to pull the preceptual study on knowing what Sodom is and Gomorrah. And these are verses that are not there, but give it to you so where you can, when you do your studies, many of these verses should have came into your studies to where now you have a clear understanding exactly what the teaching was about. So with that, I'm gonna open it up for questions. And if you have questions, you can put your hand up and I will make sure I bring you up. And if you have a question in the YouTube side, I can bring you up, but hopefully that you guys have a better understanding exactly on how you can actually indeed study when you're doing preceptual studies of the Bible, or you're doing a preceptual study from what was taught. So if we have any questions, because once I go off and then you guys start putting your hands up, I'm gonna tell you right now, as I said, I will go off. I'm not going to sit there and wait and then I see your hand up and then you ask me a question. I'm just gonna not ask the question. I'm not going to answer it. I'm just going to go off. And we got Elder Smith. Yeah, I know sometimes I know his wife like to come in on this thing, so I don't know. But I know it's one of them. It's either Elder Smith or Sister Smith. And Elder Smith?
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom. How you doing, my brother? How you doing?
Okay. I have a question regarding the weeping 30 days. I mean, the weeping. They wept 30 days when Moses passed away. So is the weeping not to weep against those Sodomites and those who aren't into the truth? Or
yeah. Good question. Okay, what he's saying is this. Moses, they weep for Moses because they just wasn't going to be no longer with him there physically. Same as Yahushua wasn't going to be with him no more physically, but they'll see him again. So they just weeping because they might have to be here for another 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And he's already in rest and waiting to be resurrected. Now, you have people who already had a chance to be part of that and chose not to. So he says, and once you brought them the truth, those are the ones, he said, you weep for them as they doing that. But then once they dead, that's why people will cry harder, because you already know they're not going to be part of the resurrection. That's why you see actually the best example to look at that is what you look at David. You look at David, how he didn't weep as much for the baby that died, but he wept greatly for Absalom. Yes. He wept gratefully for Absalom. Why? Because he knew Absalom he wasn't going to see in the resurrection, because he never turned around.
Okay.
So, but as people sit there and they deny the truth, they're gonna keep no matter what, they want to hold to a doctrine because they believe they have this truth by going into all these other books, and they believe in their mind they had a positive truth of everything, and then they gonna die in that lie. And actually, that brings same thing like what I'm saying. I'm prove the point and show you just what I'm saying, because the Bible does this all the time, and we're gonna prove the point. And we're gonna go to 2 Thessalonians, the place where I always go, and we're gonna go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 8. I'm gonna go down and then I'm gonna go back up. It says, "And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him who is after the working of Satan with all power and lying wonders and lying signs and lying wonders, in which all deceivableness and unrighteousness, same thing being a sodomite, and all them that perish because they received not the love. They didn't want to do the commandments. They wanted to live their way. We under grace, name it, claim it, we do what we want to do. That they might be saved. And it tells you right here clear in verse 11, for this cause, Yahweh should send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. That's why many people want to believe it anyway. Why? Because now he done given you the spirit of delusion, and now you got a problem. But then the problem is where you go right back up to verse 3. He says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day should not come, except there be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, just the son of Satan. It's telling you exactly what it is. Who is opposed and exalts himself above all that is called God, that is worship. So he as God sitteth in the temple of God. So the temple of God takes you right back. When you run in these precepts, it's gonna take you right to what? We're gonna find out what the temple of God is. Because precepts just gonna keep you everything connected. So he said he'll be as God sitting in the temple of God. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? So everything's always connected. So as they doing that, this is what's happening. So with this, he's going to send them a strong delusion to do what? That they, going back to 2 Thessalonians 2:12, that they might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness, to where he can destroy them out. So when they come to try to seek refuge, he's not going to give them refuge. He's going to sit there and tell you, I never knew you.
Thank you, Elder.
Oh, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? In the precept, only 1 second. And now we got Oliver with the precept, the Bible that the only by I need to study. I need a regular King James Bible with the Apocrypha. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing, I don't know if you typed it too quick, but it got here, the precept Bible, is that the only by what I need to study with? Okay, what happened? What's going on here? I think I might understand you. But what's happening here, the first 5 books, that's the foundation to the entire Bible. That's your key to unlock tons of stuff in the Bible. So you have the precept, but you have the affiliations in there, so you can know what stuff means, to where you can pull other things in there that you need to pull, and clearly understand what he's saying as he's speaking. Now, this you'll use if you have your King James Bible with the Apocrypha and you have the Precept Study Bible. The easier way to do it, because when you look in your other regular Bible, you'll see references there that'll run you to other things. And they running you on a thought pattern and a teaching of theology on what they're trying to make you believe. But when you use a Precept Study Bible, all they do is going to show you clarification on what that verse is saying. That's why you see the words below there. Now, with that, what you do, you take the same thing. Some of what those words mean, you use that to where you're going to do your deeper study. Same thing like what you're seeing from here. So with that deeper study, now that allows you to go in other places, and now you can see what's going on. Because what it did, it opened up a door. So with that broad, when he's telling you broad is the way that leads to destruction, that's your key. So if you open up that key and you won't walk through that door of the broad way, you want to know, why is he saying this broad way is destruction? You want to know why he's saying that. So the only way you can find out is to understand what he means by that. So then what you do, we went over and we went into the Precept Study Bible, and we see that Asher went out and he built Nineveh. See, most people think those were a bunch of Gentiles, and it wasn't. That was Seth's children. Asher went over there and he built in Nineveh, and it said built Nineveh in the city Rabbah. That's why it was named that. It was the city abroad places. That's how we knew what was going on. And now that's why living. They living they living the way they want to. Do they know the law? Yeah, they know it, but they're living on the broad road. So that's how you're able to pull out everything else. That's why the precept study Bible why it was so important. And like we have other books that's coming out, and they're gonna have affiliations in there which just show you exactly how to do it. But when you want to find what the laws are and everything, how it's constructed, it's good to use where you use your Bible, you use all the other parts of the Bible, but then when you want to find out what the laws is and understand it, you go back to that precept study Bible, and now you're going to do it just like being an attorney, just like being a lawyer. You're going to go back and you're going to understand the language that the Most High is talking about. So now you can go back to your Bible, and now you can figure out everything else. Technically what happens. And the same thing is if we do have some lawyers out there, they tell you they got that Black Law Dictionary, everything. All that's coming from the Bible, because that's where you're getting the foundation from. Same as you work in your own state, they work on a book that have laws. So when you go in there and they tell you you did this law, you broke that law, they pull in from a law book. And you have to work according to their language that's in that book. That book gonna have a certain language, and you have to understand their language to talk their language. So that's what actually happens. And I thought Clayton, I thought he was over here, but he's over here. It says, neighbor, I would not that ignorant should be ignorant. He flow. Teaching has a flashing like light. Oh, you just putting it. Yeah, I appreciate it, my brother. So other than that, do we have any other questions that is in this back area? That's what we're trying to find out. Is there anybody else in this back area that have any questions? Because if not, I'm trying to make sure we're good on everything. So far, nothing. So far, we don't have anything. So and I know it's a delay on the YouTube side. And I'm trying to make sure to where we'll be fair across the board. So it looked like we got all those things taken care of, but that was one of the main and few teachings that I will be doing, showing you how to pull preceptual studies. And when you do, so like when I do a teaching, Elder Jenkins do a teaching, Elder T do a teaching, it's not to where you hear the words and you enjoy it. Is what you do. You go back and you study it, and you see the point of where they're coming from, and then you will see why they come up with what they came up with. Because the same thing is, you're going to tear it down, and you're not looking for it to make it jive with us. Precept's going to do that anyway. Just do the preceptual study, and it's going to show you. But then you see the keys why what happened. Because if you go back and you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, I don't tell you straight is the gate, wide destruction, strict is narrow, leads to life. I don't get into all that. But now when the study goes through, now you know why it is the way it is. That's why you live in the spiritual life of Sodom. So the same thing is, so when you go through this, I want to make sure I export this into PDF and I want to make sure everybody has this, that is in the back. And let me do a couple of things. I want to make sure they're actually able to get this file. So this file is in a PDF. I want to make sure. And actually, I want to make sure everybody was able to get to this file. Well, if not, I still have your emails, because because it's not letting me put it in there. But I do have your emails. So what I'm gonna do is seem like for about the next 15 minutes, I'm gonna be putting it in your emails, sending you guys this actual file that I'm gonna show you right here again, to where you can have it, and then you can tear down this even more if you need to. So you'll have this, and then you can do it the way you want to do it. You can go through that study and look at it and do the same thing with the lesson. Technically what you'll be doing. So this here, I'm going to actually have it sent to you guys and go out. So the ones that's on the YouTube side, I do apologize that you won't be able to get it, but the ones that I had the emails from, to where who did the register, who is back here, they will have it. And let me see. And they asking is Ezekiel 6:49. Let's look at Ezekiel 6:49. And Ezekiel speaks strictly about something, but let's go look at it. Let's look at 6:49. And you got, no, 1649. And let me go there. It says, behold, this was iniquity of their sister Sodom prior to the fullness of bread, the knowledge that they was getting, and the abundance of idleness was in her and her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy, the ones who needed the understanding. Actually, excellent pickup. So what you do, you go back there and you put that with your study. You go back and you put that with your study. But it's telling you about Sodomites. So you learning the characteristics and everything of Sodomites. So and that was Aster that put that in there. So yeah, so that's a good pickup. Very good pickup. And let's see. So that's everybody. So I think we have no other questions in the back. Yeah. Seventh-day Adventist, yeah, you go to the Seventh-day Adventist, you will be baptized unto Satan. Clear and plain. So that's the problem that a lot of people believe. So same thing. And what you got to understand is still with that, with people saying, well, I'm going to go here and be baptized unto whoever, or I'm going to go to this camp and I'm going to be baptized under this. And they sitting there and they going in all these other books and they doing everything else, you still run into the same problem. You're still being baptized unto Satan. And see, and actually what most people don't understand, well, I'm not going to even get into that because I don't need a whole lot of heresy going out there. And so that's why some stuff I like to do more in private settings. And what do the rain come from according to scripture? Then that's something you need to tell me. So these are things to where people get into, and because it tells you what rain is. So that's a question when you're looking for what rain according to scripture, go look right at it. You can find it right in Deuteronomy, tell you exactly what rain is. So those are the things to which people come in, and then you ask, some people like to ask simple questions, but you don't want to put in the work. You have to put in the work to where you can get the study out of it. But just to give you a lot of information based on what do this verse say, what did that verse say, is one thing. But when you try to get an understanding of something, it's something else. But where I get questions similar like this, normally at the time, I will not answer it, because this is where you need to do a preceptual study and find out exactly what rain is. Because you said there, another question, what do rain come from according to the scriptures? So again, you can go right in Deuteronomy, and you can pull it. So what should I do? Send me an email. I do tell you this. Let's do it this way. Let me do it this way. Let me pull this up. And I'm gonna put my email in there. So send me an email and then we can go from there. So just put your phone number in it and I'll call you and we'll talk. So other than that, want to make sure nobody in the back. So we have no questions in the back. We have no questions in the front. So with that, we're going to end this. So hopefully that you guys got some understanding from that. And mainly next time we go through a teaching or you go through the lessons, because I do know in how can I precept the Bible and understand? And seeing that comes with time and understanding. Basically, the same thing. To understand precepts, I run classes that we do that, but a lot of the classes was shut down because we had heresy of people coming in doing a lot of just shady, silly stuff. So we shut down a lot of that. And same thing, like I said, you know, a lot of times we had some that came in, they just got out of Christianity. Some had just stepped foot out of Christianity. And then literally they knew everything. I don't get it, but that's what they do. So besides keeping that, it's easy to shut down, and then we do sporadic other one teachings that we'll do with classes, and then we do private teachings. That's why we do stuff in that form, to keep a lot of that down. Because when I do class teachings, I make sure I have to see you. If I don't see you, then you won't be part of the class. I just take you out. It's that simple, because I want to know exactly who you are. And let me see. Yeah, this going. So it looked like we have everything else taken care of. So with that, well, we have one that's back here. And we have a Sandra. Okay, Sandra?
Hey, Shalom. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, Shalom, Alda. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm very well, very well. Actually, it's Brother Matthew, the guy from South Africa.
Oh, yeah, okay. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm very well, Alda. It's just that I was just paying attention to the study that we were doing, because I didn't want to bring something which was outside of the study. So I was praying. I was just focusing mostly on what you were teaching, because I wanted to get an understanding. But something just brought up that one of the person that wrote on YouTube about being baptized.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I once asked the question, I think it was last week. I mentioned that I was baptized, but while I was still in Christianity, you know. And then Elder said to me that, well, technically I was baptized under Satan.
Mm-hmm.
I have no dispute about that. I understand completely what you mean. But now my problem here is, how do I get baptized to the truth? Because now I'm out of Christianity. The Most High brought me out of that.
Yeah.
And I've been learning all the way for the past year and a half since I've been following you. I've been learning all the way, and all the things that I've been learning, those are the things that I was not learning while I was back there. And I can tell that I'm a different person than what I am now, than what I was when I was back then in the Christian church. But now the problem here lies is that I'm not baptized according to the truth. Okay. The last time I was baptized was when I was there, you know, like you said, I was baptized in Satan, and I understand that. But now, how do I get baptized in the truth? Okay. Seeing that in the neighborhood that I'm living and in the place that I'm living, there are no people that are in the truth. Everybody is in Christianity, and here it's just me and my wife who are how can I put it, who are the students of the truth, who are learning here by King James Bible University. So now I'm worried because I haven't been baptized according to the truth.
Okay.
I was baptized when I was in Christianity.
I tell you what, can you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm getting ready. I'm gonna see if I can send you a private message. I'm trying to see if I can do that right now. I don't think I can do it, but I tell you what, I want you to do me a favor. Take down my email.
Okay, I think I have your email.
You have my email? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want you to do me a favor. With that email, as soon as I come off this show, I want you and me to, because you're in South Africa currently
Yes,
right
sir.
now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want me and you to talk, and I'm gonna show you exactly what to do. And I probably have somebody already over there because Dr. Shaul is not too far, and actually that was my teacher. He's not too far from where you probably are. And you meet him, that's a whole nother ball game. But yeah, but that's a whole nother. He gonna talk highly of me, but don't let that man fool you. That man will literally quote that Old Testament to you like it's 3 pages. Man's a trip. Yeah. But the main thing is, I'm gonna show you some things on what you need to do and basically what to do and where you'll be good. But hopefully, me and you need to talk, because I'm gonna see if I can have Dr. Shaul take care of that from that end. If not, I'm gonna show you exactly what to do. So what I'm gonna do, so when you send me the email, and then what we can do, we can come back, because you have Zoom, so that's good. So we can come back on Zoom, and then we can talk, and then we can take care of everything right from there.
Okay.
All right.
So yes. What I need to do is just send you an email.
Yeah, send me an email. Just send me an email, and but you really, yeah, send me an email with your Zoom account.
Okay.
Do it that way, and then I can actually get a hold to you easier.
All right.
So let's do that, and then once we get that information, and then as soon as we go off, you'll give me less than 10 minutes, and I'm gonna actually call you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna do that right now.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So let me see. Do we have any other questions? Any other questions? And it looks like we might be good. It looks like we might be good. I'm trying to check, trying to make sure. And it looked like we're pretty good. So with that we have no other questions. So it looked like we're going through that. So with that, hopefully that each and every person was able to get and understand exactly how to study the Bible, 1, but then 2, when you get a study, understand once we do that teaching, is more to it. It's always more to it, because what you want to do, you want to have the mind of Christ. You want to have that mind to where you walk in. He said, you make your election sure. And when you're able to go through those teachings, you're going to get confident. Same as this one brother was just saying. Once you understand the truth, it changes you completely. But main thing is make sure that you clearly understand what's happening. So hopefully that each and every person, get those understandings. But as you continue to seek the Most High. See, don't hold to everything what Elder Johnson is saying. Don't just hold to what I'm saying. Make sure I'm jiving with the book. If I'm not doing something with the book, then you need to cut me loose. And that's what people, You got other people tell you everything different. They telling you the truth. They telling you the truth. I'm telling you according to Scripture. And that's what I hold to. I'm gonna hold to the Scriptures. When you want to answer, we're gonna go to the Scriptures. When we find out what's going on, we're gonna hold to the Scriptures. Don't hold to no man. And clearly, last time I checked, I'm a man. So with that, hopefully that each and every person got some understanding from these. I have a couple of questions that's in the back, which is the same thing. And you clearly, with the question and want to answer live, I already answered some of this stuff live, but we have people who ask some questions in the back that I do see. And same thing, if I don't know what some of this question is, as I said, I'm not going to, some of the questions that have been asked in the back, I'm not doing it. I don't answer that quite openly. So that's why I'm not going to do it openly. So that's why I say it's better. And the same thing is the emails, I'm not going to email an answer as far as what that question is. So when you do that, you kind of, it's almost like you put yourself in that position. So that's the position you put yourself in, then that's on you. Because I'm very open on certain things, same as I'm telling him. So I'm gonna have to talk to him to take care of what I need to take care of. But then you kind of have the same question, but it's on a different level to where I'm gonna have to email, go back, and I'm not gonna do that. That's why I opened this up back here to where we can actually talk. So with that, I wish that each and every person see how to study, understand how to do the studies. And from that, you continue. And the same thing, I'm gonna be doing these emails. I got to email quite a few people that's out there. I do know Elder Cindy and Sister Brittany. I know a lot of them that's back here. I know they can take care of that on another part and where I can actually probably put it back there. So with that, I bid to each and every person, a shalom.